Normal swords? Ha! I like my swords flaming. Hello there, my name is Philip and welcome to Totally Amazing. Today I'm going to show you the best way to draw a flaming sword. Oh yeah! Before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe and ring that bell button so you can get notified as soon as the next exciting episode of Totally Amazing comes out. Also stay tuned for the end for the secret word of awesomeness. Plus, we also have an extra surprise on the end that you're going to go nuts for. So make sure you stay tuned for the end. It's going to be so whoa! So swords, they're pretty cool on their own, they're pretty impressive, but when you see a flaming sword, oh, that's just like, you see someone with a flaming sword, you know, hey, that cat's got power. Yeah, yeah. Only problem is they look cool, but sadly they're not real. Or are they? So for today, you're going to need a pencil, a rubber, a marker, some colors, and of course some paper. So by the power of Grayskull, let's start drawing a sword. Okay, so as always when we start off with a basic framework or stick figure, and with our sword, this is what we do. So we draw a straight line, and then another line down here. So it's simply this, a cross. Yep, that's it, we're done. Next step. Okay, so now let's start putting on some basic shapes. So what you want to look at is the basic geometric shapes like squares, boxes, lines, that sort of thing. So what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be drawing the sword Luminor, the key to Antispire, from my comic Antispire, because it's a good basis for a sword. So you can decorate however you want, but I'm going to be drawing Luminor today so you guys can follow along. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be drawing a curve at the base here, and one at the top. I'm going to just sort of taper it up a little bit at the edges, put a line straight on the edge, same on this side, around, straight line, and just bring it back to my curve. So we're drawing the hilt now, which is the non-bladey stabby bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a circle on the end here, just a basic rough circle for the pommel, which is the base of the sword. And now that I've got those two pieces, I'm going to draw a line that's sort of going to taper in on either side for my handle. So see, it starts a bit wider and it comes in at the base. I'm just going to come in a little bit more because that's a little bit thick for a handle. I don't want it too thick. So what about those extra lines there? As if they were never there. Ooh, magic. Now I'm going to put in what's called the rain guard, which is going to be just a little triangle at the top of the sword hilt here, which is the center at the top. Now I'm going to put in a little diamond at the top here because Luminor, the sword, actually has a diamond in this position because it's that cool. And I'm going to put in just 3 little circles either side. For the crystals, the magic crystals, they're all part of the story of the sword. You want to check it out in Antispire, there's a link down below. So, okay, so they're the basic shapes for our hilt. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to draw the blade. To do that, I'm going to go from my rain guard here, which is this triangle at the top here. I'm going to draw 2 lines either side of that center line, just like this. Reasonably straight lines. You can have them bow out a little bit at the edge. Now for the point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a diamond at the edge there. So see how it's joining at the center line, and we've got the point of the sword there. Now that center line has actually become part of the sword. How cool is that? We don't need to rub it out. Well, for a flaming sword we do, but we'll get to that. Okay, so they're the basic shapes for our sword. Let's start adding a few more details, shall we? Now this is going to make it look a bit more 3D. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a line down from the edges here, and I'm going to curve it back in line with this first line that I made for the handle, or the crossguard, sorry. So now see how it's got a bit more of a 3D shape? We're going to do the same on the pommel, or the bottom of the sword down here. Bring in 2 lines, and the same sort of angle as we have for the curve here, so we're going to go like so. Okay, now for the actual grip, I'm going to put in some parallel lines, like this, and 1 curved line at the edge. So this is going to be the point where the handle joins the pommel. Now what we can do here is just bow out between those lines, like that, and that gives the illusion of grips, like it's made of leather or something like that. Now because these doesn't go to the very edge, it's sort of in the center, what we're going to do is we're going to put a curve there, which is going to help so that the handle is sticking inside the center, not on the edge. Now I'm just going to put in a few little extra details, so a little bit of curve there, a little bit of an angle there at the top, same on this side, a little bit of a angle. So you've got your point there, your corner there, so you're going to basically draw a line in the center of it. Same over here, you've got a line there, and just bring it around. And make sure that's the base of the sword, so I'm not going to join to that line. I'm going to go back like that. But these just give fine little details that help sell the authenticity of the sword. It's a regal, cool looking sword. Finally, Luminor has these little grips on the sides here, so I'm going to go out a little bit and back in, so it's sort of like almost like a worm. Like so, and then I put little curves down the side of it. This is an extra hand grip. Not every sword has this, you don't have to draw this, but Luminor does. It's an extra bit that they used to use just to help if they wanted to grab a bit of the blade, just to help it get a bit of extra swing. Luminor has it. You see it on some swords, Conan sword, those sort of swords. Not every sword has it, so you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to draw it. Luminor has it, so I'm drawing it. And now I'm just going to put in an extra circle down here because the intricate little pattern design of the base here. I'm going to actually draw the symbol for Antispire, which is a phoenix. I'm going to draw just a line down the center, so I'm giving you a guide. And we'll go out and in, out and out and in. There's a bird's head on the side. Out in, out in, out in. So it's sort of like a flaming bird, which is what a phoenix is. Okay, so that's the basics of our sword. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? But you didn't come here for just a sword, did you? Nah, you came here for something hot. Let's draw some flames. Okay, with flames you want to think tiers and direction. So the sword is going upwards, so the flames are going to go upwards. But that doesn't happen every time. Let's say the sword is upside down. So see, it's pointing down. The flames won't actually go downwards, they'll actually point up. So bear that in mind. Whatever direction your sword is facing, the flames generally go upwards. So bear that in mind. So what we want to do, we want to start getting a basic shape for our flames. So I'm just going to put in some jagged lines across the top there. And at the bottom, flames, remember, they want to go up, so they're not actually going to go straight out. They're going to sort of curve up a little bit. And yeah, so that gives you a guide of what the shape of the flames are going to do. Now I can start putting in some details. Remember I said think tier? Sort of think like drawing a half tier. So there's a half tier, and I'm going to bring it back. Another one over here. And you can change the direction as well. This helps sell the shape of a flame. Don't be afraid to change things as you go as well. It's all, fire is organic, so it likes to move and dance. So you can play with it as much as you like. Remember, see I'm sort of drawing a tier shape? Keep that in mind as you go along. Now at this point, the change of it's not going to go just straight up, so I'm going to be curving it up to the side and joining it with my other flames over here. Okay, so now for the base, you are going to still have some pointing out, but they are going to taper in a bit as well. Okay, so now we've got the sketch of our flaming sword done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my marker and I'm going to mark in all the lines that I want to keep, and then I'm going to rub out all the lines that I don't want to keep. Also, bear in mind, if I was just drawing a normal sword, this center line and the triangle at the top there, I would draw, but because it's a magical flaming sword, the center sword is actually going to be white. So let's start inking. Okay, so that's the inking done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start colouring. Now I bet you know what you're thinking. Oh well, better make sure I got my grey. No, because the blade is usually grey, but because it's a magical sword, we don't need to draw a grey sword. Because the centre of our sword is actually going to be white, because that's where the most powerful part of the magic is. So it's going to exude light from that, so that stays white. Let me show you what I mean. And there you have it, a flaming sword. Pretty hot, huh? Yeah. So what you want to do with the flames is you want to have the red on the edges and then blend in from the red to the orange to the yellow, and make sure you have a white space on the edge there. Helps show that the fire is really hot, and it makes it look more realistic too. So pretty cool, huh? So I drew the sword Luminor from my comic Antispire. Now in Antispire there's lots of other magical weapons. There's Chakrams, which are throwing discs, there's magic hammers, there's all sorts of cool stuff. So make sure you check out Antispire. There's a link in the description for you to check out right now. So you made it this far, well done you. I bet you're waiting for the secret word of awesomeness. Now remember, with the secret word of awesomeness, you put it in the comments to let people know how awesome you are and how dedicated you are, because you made it this far. Good on you. So let's make the secret word real. Why real, you ask? This is why. Enjoy. Somebody gave me fire!